If ever there was a dish that exemplified the idea that sometimes the simplest approach is the best approach, these steak tacos would be it. Well seasoned steak gets grilled over charcoal and then combined with smashed avocado, salsa, lime, and tortillas. So easy and simple and perfect. You could easily complicate the dish, make a full on guacamole or something, make a really extravagant salsa, but I don't know if that would actually make the dish any better. I think it's pretty perfect in its simplicity as it is right now.
Let's go ahead and make a marinade for our steak. We're going to start with about 3 tablespoons of lime juice, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, about a tablespoon of grated garlic, about a half teaspoon of ground cumin, about a teaspoon of Mexican oregano, a teaspoon of salt, and I'm hoping to get about half teaspoon of fresh ground black pepper in there. Two tablespoons of olive oil or vegetable oil. I'm using vegetable oil. We'll go ahead and whisk that all together, and then we'll get ready to add it to our steak. I'm using flank steak here. Skirt steak would work great as well. I'm adding it into a casserole dish. I'll let it sit just for about 30 minutes to an hour. You could also do this in a freezer bag if that's easier for you. Once you've made sure that the marinade is completely touching all the steak, you can go ahead and set it aside while you get your grill ready. Get your grill heated up. I'm using my trusty charcoal Weber grill, and I'm going to have a 2-zone fire set up with all the coals on one side. Going to get it heating up, and I'll go ahead clean the grates. This whole process takes 30 minutes to an hour. And then we will be ready to start cooking our steak. I'm going to start the steak on the hot side of the grill. I'm using about a pound of flank steak. In the end, I'll probably cook them for about 3 to 4 minutes per side. Ultimately, I'm looking for an internal temperature of around 125 to 130. That's a medium to medium rare. You don't want to cook this type of steak rare. It can be a little too chewy. It's not like a tenderloin or a ribeye or something. As you can see, I covered mine up. Not necessary if you don't have the ability to or don't want to. After about 4 minutes, I'm going to open them, flip them over. They look nice and charred. I'm going to give them another 3 minutes or so on the grill, and then I'll take a temperature. Again, I said 125 to 130. That's not going to be the final temp. That's the temp at which I want to pull it off the grill. We're going to let them rest after we take them off, and they will continue to raise the temperature a little bit. Let's see what we've got. If you don't have one of these probe thermometers, I highly recommend picking one up. They're a lifesaver. And I think we're right about 130. A little hotter than I would have liked, but good enough for now. So we're going to take these off the grill, and we're going to let them rest. While we let them rest, we'll get some of our toppings ready. We'll start with our mashed avocado. I'm hesitant to call this a guacamole because it literally is just avocado, a little bit of lime and some salt. There's no onions, there's no jalapenos, no cilantro. It's super simple, but it's perfect. It's so delicious. As you can see, I'm just taking the meat out of the avocados. You can do this however you like. The technique I'm using works great for me. Once I get all the meat out, I'm gonna squeeze about a half a lime's worth of juice into the avocado. That's about a tablespoon. After that, I'm gonna start mashing it up and stirring it. I'm using a whisk. You can obviously use a fork if that's all you got. Add some salt, about a teaspoon. You can always taste and add more if you need it. Keep stirring, and that's it. So simple, so delicious. Next, we're going to slice up some limes to serve with our steak tacos. You definitely want to make sure you have these at the table. That lime juice, the acidity you get from that, is super important for cutting the fattiness from the steak and the avocado. Next, you want to get your tortillas heating up. I like to do mine on the grill just because I like the grill marks, but you can do this in the microwave or on a stove. It's only about 10 seconds a side is all you need. I do this whether I'm using corn or flour. For these tacos today, I'm using flour. They would be just as good with corn tortillas as well. That looks so good. We are ready to start slicing our steak for the tacos. As you can see, there's some salsa there. I just used some jarred salsa. You can make your own salsa, or if you want, I'm going to put a link to another video I made that has a great pico recipe. We're going to want to slice the steak against the grain. Otherwise, it's going to be insanely chewy. So make sure you're slicing it against the grain. You can then slice the slices after you've done that if you want smaller bites. I really don't mind having larger bites in my tacos. Most people don't, but whatever you prefer. Now you're ready to go ahead, build your tacos, and eat. Enjoy.